I honestly don't think I've been excited for nostalgia this much in a long time. I have bought, with the purpose of reviewing and looking at them from an adult perspective, the complete collection of Mr. Men and also Little Miss, which I'll do in a separate video. I thought before I started looking at the books individually, I would do an unboxing and have a look at the characters as a kind of snapshot overview and a trip down memory lane. So we have this giant box here. I apologize if the camera is a little bit shaky. My phone is mounted on a tripod, but I'll try and keep it as shakeless as possible. And I actually got this secondhand, both of them from the same seller. I got them for a bargain price. But ordinarily, I think they're about £30 each, which for 48 books is not too tremendous. And when we have a look inside, honestly, the nostalgia, these books taught me to read. Mr. Men books are the reason I know how to read. I owe a lot to Roger Hargreaves. When we have a look inside, we have that beautiful spine. The books growing up were like this as well. They said my Mr. Men library. This one we get another little book. I don't know if this is meant to be included or not, but it was in the box. So if anybody has bought this and knows whether or not that's included, please let me know. But the Little Miss books do actually come with some of these non-standard stories. So I thought we'd just take them out one by one or in, I guess, little groups and have a quick overview of the characters. Feel free to let me know which characters you remember most or which ones your favourites are. I have reviewed some of the books previously, but not with the books in the video, just as audio-only reviews. But now I thought I'd go back, revisit them, and see what I can remember and maybe what I can't remember. So I'll take out the first one so it's a little bit easier to get to. Mr. Tickle. My cat actually has a soft toy teddy of Mr. Tickle, so we're quite a fan of Mr. Tickle in this household. We have, let's see who we've got. We've got Mr. Greedy, one of my personal favourites and the one that I remember most iconically from my childhood. Mr. Happy, who I guess is a very iconic one. Mr. Nosey. I used to have a handmade, like, not knitted, but I think it was like felt Mr. Nosey teddy when I was younger, and honestly, looking back on it, it was slightly traumatizing. Mr. Sneeze. Mr. Bump, who I think is another one of the most popular ones. Mr. Snow. Mr. Messy, who I particularly enjoy. These are, as you can see, these are secondhand. I bought them secondhand, but they're in incredible condition. Mr. Silly. Mr. Uppity, who I think either has a new name now or a different name in the American books. I can't remember which one it is. But yeah, I think he's got a different name now. Mr. Small. Mr. Daydream, who brilliantly looks like a cloud. Mr. Forgetful, love the facial expression. Mr. Jelly. Get to them much easier now. Mr. Noisy, who clearly looks like he's wearing very heavy shoes. Mr. Lazy. Mr. Funny. Mr. Mean. I remember all of these characters, but some of the stories I don't remember very well. Mr. Chatterbox. Mr. Fussy, who looks like somebody, but I can't work out who he looks like. He reminds me of somebody, but I don't know whom. Mr. Bounce. Mr. Muddle. I don't have the strongest recollection of Mr. Muddle, to be perfectly honest, so same with Mr. Dizzy, actually. I'm assuming that these later ones were out when I was younger. I remember having an extensive collection. Mr. Impossible. Yeah, they must have been out because I remember Mr. Strong very well. And Mr. Grumpy. I think Mr. Grumpy is definitely one of the most merchandisable characters. Mr. Clumsy, who definitely needs a haircut. Mr. Quiet. Mr. Rush. Mr. Tall. Mr. Worry. Mr. Nonsense. I definitely remember Mr. Nonsense. I like how they've styled the title there, not just because his name is quite long, but it also just helps to reinforce the nonsense. Mr. Wrong. I don't remember Mr. Wrong, I don't think. But I like the design. I do remember Mr. Skinny. Mr. Mischief. Mr. Clever. Mr. Busy. Mr. Slow. Interesting design because most of the Mr. Men look like they're adjective or whatever. But not that one. If you showed me that, I wouldn't go, that is depicting slowness. Then last but not least, we have the last batch, Mr. Brave. Again, nothing really brave about that, but whereas he does look like he is grumbling. We do have a very grumbly Mr. Grumble. I'm running out of room beside me. Mr. Perfect. Mr. Cheerful. Mr. Cool. I guess the blue colour kind of depicts coolness there. Mr. Rude definitely looks rude. Mr. Good. I have no recollection of Mr. Good. I don't remember him. And the same with Mr. Nobody. And is there a initially published date? It's just got a 2010 copyright, which I assume is when this box set was released. I'll have to do a bit of investigating to see when this was initially published, but I don't remember Mr. Nobody. There is actually a complete collection with 36 books in it, I believe. So I'm assuming that maybe the additional 12 were published. But then I think I remember Mr. Cool. I'm not sure. I will investigate. Mr. Adventure. And then the last one, which I'm not sure if it was meant to come with this box or if the seller just threw it in. Very grateful if they did. Mr. Men Meet Father Christmas, which is definitely a new one. There's a whole... Oh, we have Little Miss Tiny as well. There's a whole plethora of these kind of themed Mr. Men books. As I said, the Little Miss collection actually comes with some of them. I've not looked through them properly, but obviously I opened the box when I got it to make sure everything was fine, and I saw a couple of them in there. So I'm keen to see what these ones are like. You can see a kind of different... I think I'm pretty sure there's a Christmas themed gift box with these in them, which I might look at eventually once I've kind of reread and reviewed and analysed these. I started doing this, as I said, without the actual books. I just did them as... I apologise for how shaky that is. I did it just with a kind of quick overview. But I thought, no, I'm going to get the books. I want to actually feel them in my hands. I want that proper trip down memory lane. And even without reading them, even just looking at them just now, it's... Because this is how they were displayed on my shelf, as I'm sure is the case for a lot of children growing up, with the spine like this. And it was just... the memories. I was a bigger fan of the Little Miss books, so I imagine looking through those is going to be quite an interesting experience. Oopsies. As I said, I haven't properly looked at them yet. I was waiting to do the videos. But I'm looking forward to going through these. Let me know if you have any favourite characters. I think I'm going to do these in order, just so it's easier that way. But maybe I won't. Maybe I'll flip back and forth and pick and choose. I'll see once I get started. Oh, that's a tight squeeze in there. There we go. That is a beautiful... it's less beautiful now that I've kind of made them uneven, but generally speaking, that is rather delightful. I'm really looking forward to going through them. Let me know if you have any favourites. The nostalgia is real, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty excited.